My name is Persyce Apollo. I'm an artist, producer, engineer, and I'm from Orlando, Florida. I got into music production at a very young age, just listening to Dr. Dre, Timberland. I think that's pretty much all it took. And I met a friend in ninth grade, and he was making beats off his computer, and he showed me how I could make it off mine. And after that, I started making beats because, I mean, it's not like we can go to Timberland or Dr. Dre for a beat. So we started making our own beats. I mean, I kind of knew in the future everybody would be making beats on computer, but that's how it started. It all started, you can thank Timberland and Dr. Dre for this, because it was their beats that made me say, I want to make beats. You know, Timberland's sound was so crisp. I was like, yo, I want my shit to sound just as crisp as this when my music come out. So I would just do whatever I could to try to make it sound that way without any musical education, you know, just trying to figure out what does what. I mean, in a car, an equalizer on Pro Tools, it's the same thing. My favorite genre to produce is hip hop of all genres. It's where it started for me. However, I do produce pop. I enjoy producing records that's gonna make money, honestly. You know, I've been making beats my whole life. We can all do it for the love of music, but in the end of the day, it's like, where the check? I just like to mix good music. When it's good music, it makes my mind go wild of what I can do in the mix. If it's just whatever song, I can mix it to the best of my ability, but the creativity is not going to be as wide as if it was a really good song. So more or less, it's not the genre, it's the song. If the song is good, then the mixing is going to come out really good. My favorite part of the production process would be the creating aspect of it. I mean, I guess that's what it would be for most, just because it's the start, you know, it's the canvas, the blank canvas. What are you going to do with that blank canvas? Are you gonna make a masterpiece? Are you just gonna draw a stick figure? What are you gonna do with it? So I would have to say the creative process is my favorite part of the production aspect. I hear this a lot. Everybody, start with the bass line, blah, blah. Music to me is all off feeling. Whatever I feel is what I start with. If I feel a melody in my head, I'm gonna start with the melody. Or even if I'm just cruising around sounds and I'm, you know, putting my finger on the keyboard some ways or whatever, and something pops up, we're gonna start with that, you know. Or if I got some new drums, I'll start with the drums first, just to, you know, see what I do. But honestly, it's just off feeling. Because I feel like it's almost a limit. If you say I have to start with the bass line first, then you kind of limit yourself, because there's a plethora of sounds that you can be starting with first. So why just start with the bass line? Recording wise, Pro Tools. Production wise, I would have to say FL Studio and then Ableton. There was a time when I would put Ableton before FL Studio, but I can't, because FL Studio came first. They're both really good, but in FL Studio, I can make 5 beats in an hour. You know, I can do the same in Ableton, but FL Studio makes the work process a little easier. The workflow is a little faster, and it's been around for so long. It's become such a monster in the music industry. You know, I never even thought when I was using FL Studio 4 it would be this big now. You know what I mean? So I'd have to say FL Studio for production. For recording, Pro Tools. My favorite pieces of gear, I might not even have in this studio, but my favorite pieces of gear to work with are definitely the Newman mic, the Apollo interface. I love the Avalon. You know, the Avalon compressors are probably one of my favorite pieces of hardware to work with. If you have a shitty interface, if you have an Avalon, you can make wonders with it, you know. If you have a shitty interface, you can make wonders with that too, but I would have to say, yeah, the Avalon. Yamahas are always my favorite speakers to mix with, because they sound shitty when the mix is shitty, and once you bring it to life, then they sound really good. So I'd have to go with the Yamahas. And I mean, for the most part. You know, I'm a DAW user more than hardware. We use more,
Yeah, that's the next
you know,
question.
computer programs. I feel, you know, a lot of old school producers, blah blah, but I mean, hey, they took hardware and put it inside of a computer. You can't go wrong with that. So it is what it is. Honest to God, I would tell everybody it's the padding of your room that would make wonders of anything that you're using. If your room is acoustically treated the right way, I'm not even talking about just the padding on the wall, but what's behind the wall matters too, because if there's not that much solid insulation in the wall, then there's still that hollow area of music to reach through. So I would have to say, as long as you put padding in your room as good as you can get the best recordings out of the cheapest interface, which I used this M-Box for 7 years. It still works today. I mean, we still use it. It's probably one of the best gears, but they don't even make it anymore. So now you get the Avid box. It's black, it's not blue, but I mean, that's all I could really say. It's the padding of your room, a mic, a good mic. I could say, yeah, if you want to spend the most money on something, get a really good mic, and then spend money on padding the room that you're recording in very well, so that if you take your sessions to other studios, they can at least mix it professionally. If you record in your room without padding and then you send them, you know, vocals with all this reverb, you're leaving them no room to really work. So they're gonna mix it to the best of their ability, but they're not gonna tell you that, hey man, you know, your vocals got too much room reverb or whatever the case may be. So the padding of your room is the most important thing I can say, and it's not that expensive. It can be, but if you just shop around, there's a lot of places that sell it for cheap online. So
what would you say that price range would be?
I would say, man, like, depending on how big your room is, spend a good $200 to $500 on padding of the room, man. Honest to God, just to really get a real good sound. You know what I mean? It sounds expensive, but in this music world, the photography world, the video world, it's an expensive place to be. So just understand, if you're getting into this genre, you gotta spend some money if you want quality out of your work. And I mean, I just gotta be honest with them, you know?
That's exactly what
yeah, because I mean, we could all do it, but I mean, it does take a little money in certain places to get what you need. Oh man, see, these are where the secrets come out. Honest to God, my favorite bundles of plugins to work with, for years, I guess everybody in the world knows this, the Waves plugins, but I've been accustomed to using a lot of the Fab Filter plugin, the EQ. They have a de-esser that's amazing. They got a limiter that you can put on your master track and turn that song almost as loud as you possibly can without it sounding over compressed. It's a really good limiter. Nomad Factory bundle, they got pretty much, that's where all my secret plugins are. I would say the bundles, so that you know you can get the bundle, and somewhere in there my secret plugins are in there. You know what I'm saying? Like those ones that I really go to at the end of the mix to really just to give the mix that cherry on top. So Nomad Factory, Waves, Fab Filter are my favorite brand of plugins to work with. And you know, a lot of people use presets when it comes to plugins, but when I mix songs, I actually start them off from scratch. I don't make presets for artists because each song is different. I know I should, but I don't. But I could say presets, I know, helps a lot of people from starting from scratch. You know what I mean? I'll put presets on my sessions when people come to record, because I want them to feel like they're in the song already. If they feel like they're in the song already, their performance will be 10 times better, opposed to if they hear themselves dry inside the microphone. So I do put like a presets on their sessions, so that helps the session go by even quicker, you know, so that way by the time they're done with the song, I can bounce the song because it sounds good enough to go. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So presets, I would say, are definitely make templates. You know, if there's a song and it came out really good, make a template of that song and use that when you do your sessions, and then it should be okay. You know, then you know, all you got to do is find little adjustments and go from there. Hard drive crashes. I think that every single producer, engineer, video editor, anybody who says work on anything can relate. Hard drives crashing has been a very horrible situation in my life, you know. And they charge up to $3,000 to fix these things. It's like fixing a car or buying a car just to fix a hard drive. So that's been the worst struggle I've had, you know what I mean, as far as anything else goes, because I work with a lot of people, and to tell so many people, hey man, you know, the hard drive crashed, you know, I owe them sessions, you know, I don't even feel bad. I'll just be like, yo, you know, the next time you come, the session's on me. So, and then I got to put money towards fixing it. But you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you really got to get those sessions back, so it's worth paying. Some of my hardest struggles as an engineer, see, the thing about me being an engineer is I became an engineer solely off of mixing my own music. I didn't go to school for music. I didn't go to school for engineering. There was a time when an engineer professor at Full Sail heard my CD, and he took me to his house, and he showed me, you know, secrets. He trained me. He gave me Full Sail books. He tested me. But I did not go to school for this. So the struggle of being an engineer against other engineers that did go to school for it is I get judged a lot of my mix. I've heard, you know, chatter from other engineers at other studios saying they don't like my mixes, but a lot of times they've probably never even heard a song I've mixed, because a lot of people come and record and think the song is mixed and they put it out. So I don't have control over that, you know what I mean? And I really believe in putting out quality music. So forgive me if you hear something that I didn't mix that you think I did mix, but it's hard because there are engineers, like I said, went to school for it, and I didn't go to school for it. I just used my ears to the best of my ability, and that's all I could do.
So yeah, that's good for a lot of people out there that are debating on if they need to go to school for it. Or if they
I didn't go to school for it. However, it did take years and years and years for me to get to a level to understand that what I was doing before wasn't mixed and mastered. I still have guys that come today that they bring me CDs to master, and they're like, yeah, it's mixed, but it ain't mixed, you know, like correctly. So it's really important. My biggest accomplishment, I would have to say, is running the studio for over 2 years now, you know, without having to shut it down over money problems. It sounds crazy, but I have had a studio before and we had to close it. So that's a success to me. Another success is I have 2 other engineers that are very loyal, very faithful, and it's hard to find people like that to put around you. So I'm successful at that too, you know. Another success is everybody knows who I am as far as an engineer goes, you know what I mean? So that's another success. I didn't make business cards. I just did what I do best, and people started talking, you know. And I think that's the best way to do it, is just work your hardest, no matter how little you're getting paid. If you're doing something for free, work that shit like you're getting paid $1 million, and like shit start coming back. I swear, like I'll be doing shit for other people when I know they ain't got it, and then somebody else just blessed me with $100 tip. You know what I mean? So what you put in, that shit come back double, and I'm learning that shit, you know. So just keep on working, and it's gonna come. The studio started at my house. It started at my mother's house when I was 15 years old. I was recording myself, and you know, I went to church, and you know, a couple cats from the church was like, yo, you know, we know you record. I don't know how they even figured it out. And I had them come through and just started recording them, and moved to a studio apartment, had a studio there. It's like every house I moved to, I had the studio. But it wasn't until I moved to Altamont where the studio really started because my house was across the street from the hood. So my homeboy Bounce was like, yo, I got somebody that wants to record, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I bring him through. And he came through, and man, I swear it was from that cat, from there, my homeboy Queese. He's pretty much the beginning. Queese and Wood, they talked so much about me, and people heard their music and was wondering where they were going to record. So then, after a while, I was like, all right, you can like start letting other people come to the crib. More people started coming to the crib, more people started talking, more people started listening to other people's music, more people started coming. And then after a while, it just got a little overwhelming. So, I had to get it out of the house. And I don't live in Altamont anymore, so I had to get it out of the crib. So it all started from the house, at my mom's house, as a child. And now, you know what I'm saying, it's a studio, which we are looking for a bigger space because we need more space. Know you can handle the bill ×2 before you get it. And don't forget, in Florida, it's hot, so that power bill is going to be high because the AC in a recording studio is going to be hot. So that was one thing. And just, there's a lot of personal stuff that goes within the studio because I did have a partner, which we're still very close today, but things happened between us where we had to end the studio. So you just got to know, like I said, the people you're working with, you got to know, all y'all got to be on the same level. You all got to understand exactly what the other person wants, because if you don't, then there's going to be some fallout because somebody else wants something different, So that's one of the biggest things if you're starting a partnership or with anything. All y'all got to be on the same page. Y'all got to move as one, like synchronized dancing or swimming. It's just got to move at the same time. So that was why, the studio didn't work out, just because I just wasn't ready. It wasn't time. You know what I mean? It wasn't time. Like I said, I am an artist, producer, engineer. So I say those in order because that is the order that I am. People see me as an engineer because they see me a lot. They come here and they record, but I do my own music. My goal is to definitely do numbers with my music and turn my studio into a franchise so that I have Syce Studios all around the world. So instead of just being here, there's a Syce Studios in Atlanta, there's a Syce Studios in Georgia, California, New York. I want to brand the studio to where it's all about quality, and the engineers that work here care about the music. As sucky as an artist that you may be, we want your shit to sound better than you do because it's a product that's leaving us. You know what I mean? So that's my ultimate goal, man. I feel like my music, it speaks for itself. I don't even really have to say anything. Just check me out, Persyce Apollo, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and listen to the music, SoundCloud, and you tell me, and we'll go from there. But that's the ultimate goal, is to turn this into an empire. So we're on our way. It's like a win-lose situation because social media is very oversaturated with people doing the same thing. It helps because it allows me to get my music to people across the world. On Instagram, I did a random video and Timberland liked the video. That freaked me out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's going on here? This doesn't happen, And I didn't even say anything to him. I wasn't even in his inbox after. I'm not like, yo, what's good? You want to listen to music? Like, I can't do that. I'm blessed. He liked it. Cool. It was a random video, whatever. But I feel like it helps people see what you're doing at least, So it's helped a lot of people find me. A lot of my clients now are coming from Instagram, in my inbox, like, yo, how much you charge for studio time, blah, blah, blah. So, it's helped me a lot. It's helped my business a lot. It's just tough, man, because everybody's out there doing it. So you gotta be, you just gotta be consistent with it. I'm the generation right before the generation that really knows all that social media like sorcery. So I just, I listen to my younger, homies, and they tell me you should do this, you should do that, and I do it. I say younger homies like I'm old, you know what I'm saying? But it's like the generation that really knows social media well is like that like 19, 20-year-old, you know, area and shit. So, yeah, that's pretty much what it is for social media. You know, I can't. It's such a weird alien because of how it works. You know, you're either talented or you're stupid. And you know what I'm saying? It doesn't. They want something that they've never seen before. It's just, I get it. You know, the world just likes to be entertained. It's all about entertainment, man. When I first started, I wish I knew that the music would change so quick. You know what I mean? I mean, even cats like Lil Wayne are starting to seem outdated now. You know what I'm saying? But he's still relevant. But it's like the music is changing. It used to change like every 10 years. Then it used to change like every 5. Now it's like changing like almost every 2 years. You know, as far as like the vibe goes. Last year it was that DJ Mustard, you know, sound and all that. Now it's like that. I feel like now it's more street. It's getting to be more street and more gangster, but still like melodic. Is mad weird. So I just wish I knew it was gonna be changing so rapidly, so I can know to keep up. You know, at this point in time, I'm just making what I feel I should make in my heart. I'm not trying to follow or sound like anybody. I'm just trying to make music. But yeah, I just wish I knew, and I wish I knew social media would become so big, because it's definitely hurt a lot of artists too, because if you're not popping on social media, then you're not gonna be popping at all, you know, and that's the thing that sucks, and that's why a lot of talented artists are not being heard, because their social media, they might have to go to work, she might have to pick the kids up, come home, clean, cook, she tired after that, but nah, she gotta be on the social media. So that's why I wish I would have knew it was gonna be like that, you know, and then I would have prepared myself. You know, now I just feel like I'm playing catch up. Networking has been amazing for my career because it helps me make money, and I've built some ill-ass relationships over the past like year. I've built some really good relationships. Shout out to the AR and the Restless gang, AR Restless J, the whole crew. You know, just networking, I feel like helps any business or anybody, period, to branch out and just meet new people, learn new music. And that's how your name gets around, by networking. So you can't really branch out if you don't network. I'm learning that. So you know, I used to be in the box. I'm always in the studio, My homegirl Paris is like, yo, P, you need to get out. You know, you need to do more networking. You know, you're always in the studio, blah, blah, blah. So I took a word for it, and it worked. You know, when I go out now, I'm meeting new people. I'm noticing people know me, and I don't even know them, and that feels good. So networking definitely helps. I feel like it could be one of the number one things that needs to be done to help your brand. You know, if you're not out there and people don't see you, then they don't know you. They're not gonna ask for you. They're not gonna look for you. So networking is important. This goes to my homies that are like my real gangsters and shit. You know, it is tough because y'all are really gangsters, but y'all still gotta network with cats too. You know, I know a lot of cats be scared to network with other rappers in the city, and I feel like it's holding y'all back. If y'all just hit niggas up and be like, yo, meet me at the studio, you know what I'm saying? Let's make music. I feel like we would go a lot faster in Orlando as far as getting great artists out. So I would just say my networking tips is just, you know, leave all that shit behind when you go out and just try to meet new people. Don't be scared to talk to people, and don't make people scared to come up to you. You know, some people might want to come up to you, but you might be looking scary. So I would just say networking is all about, you know, it's almost like chilling. You know, you're going out to chill with your homies or your homegirls. You're going out to have a good time. So treat it as if it's a good time. Don't treat it as if, you know, all that niggas hating on me or anything like that. Just don't even think about it, because it's really a mental thing, if anything. You know, I do photography on the side. I shoot weddings. I used to do videos, but I figured I'd leave that to the guys that do videos because it's tedious work. I do graphic design. You know, different little things I feel like it's worth knowing because if people can come to my studio and be like, P, what can I get? Be like, okay, you can get your songs recorded, you can get your CDs printed, you can get your photo shoots took in here. You can come here and not leave and have a package. You know what I'm saying? That's what every, I think, entertainment recording studio should be able to provide is something to where nobody has to go anywhere else to get anything. They can come to you, get what they need, and bomb and be out. You know, and that's what I've had to do. You know, I've had to learn how to create, you know, people's CD covers. I did photography just because I still like visuals. I'm a visual person, so I had to pick up a camera. I mean, I teach, you know, production and recording engineering on the side as well. So little things that I know that I can provide for others is what I try to do. Business skills has been the toughest for me because, you know, it wasn't a business before, and I've recently just turned it into a business. I've had to learn how to understand when to spend money and when not to spend money. That's the hardest thing because you get money, you want to spend money, and that's every black person's problem. Majority, you know, I don't even want to say black people, you know, but I know that's mine, my mother's, like, we all, like, we like to spend when we got it. So it's all about just knowing when to spend the money and knowing where to put the money. That's what I've learned because I used to be bad with it, and now I'm starting to understand how it works. So that's what I could say business-wise that I've learned. Also, of course, networking. My networking has stepped up 10 times when I started this. Before, I didn't really go out. I didn't really want to be around people. Just because people be doing dumb shit. And people who aren't doing anything are the ones who suffer the consequences. So I used to be like, man, fuck that. But other than that, man, that's pretty much the number one thing. Running a recording studio, it just depends on where you make your money. I make my money now off of everything. It used to be just recording, but now people want their songs mixed. People want, you know, production. They, like I said, they want everything. So I give them everything that I can, and if I can't provide it, I will definitely put them in the direction of good people who can. Oh, there are myths that I found out that are true. that I do know. There are myths that I found out that actually are true, which are frightening. But as far as myths that aren't true, I really don't know. I honestly, God, don't know. That's a tough one, man. Because like I said.
What about the ones that you said you do know?
Hey,
that got proved.
I can't even. It's so like I feel weird even talking about it because it's just weird, man, because people will do whatever it takes to get to a position of fame or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just know that I know that people will do whatever it takes, and that's the scary thing about this industry is that it's filled with a lot of evil. And you know, and you got to just be aware of the industry that you're coming into, and you got to know the snakes from the people who aren't snakes, and even the people who don't look like snakes are snakes. So if that's a myth right there, so be it. You know, everybody out there, I've worked with guys that I thought were the coolest niggas in the world, moved across the states with these guys, and they weren't as cool as I thought they were. So, you know, every myth that most people probably think of the music industry is probably true. You know what I'm saying? I can't say there's myths that aren't true. As far as mentor goes, I do have a mentor. His name is Fight. He once was, and still to me, one of the best engineers in Orlando and Florida. He's mixed and mastered records from Kanye West to NSYNC to Backstreet Boys, and I used to send my mixes to him, to be like, tell me what I need to do, tell me what I need to do. And after he started saying I don't need to do anything, is when I started knowing that I was like, all right, bet, I'm starting to get somewhere with this. So he has definitely been my mentor, and the craziest thing about even meeting him is my mom sings at Macedonian Missionary Baptist Church in Eatonville, and her best friend is his wife. So that was like the craziest thing to me, is like, how do I end up like running into the guy that has worked on Kanye West music and some other really big names. So it's been a musical journey for me, as far as people that I meet that like pop in and out of my life. I feel like they come in for really big reasons. It might seem small at the time, but then later on, it's really big. There was this one thing I was trying to figure out how to do in a mix, and he was supposed to come over to show me, and he said one thing over the phone, and from that one thing he showed me over the phone, I think I do it like on every song now. So it's like, he's definitely one of my biggest mentors. So his name is Fight. Look him up. You can look him up by VEIT or F8TE. It's crazy. So that's pretty much been my mentor throughout the music. To get in my creative zone, I smoke some ganja. I listen to some old music, but I try to find music that I've not heard before, so that I can kind of just lose my mind. I don't want to think of any other song. I don't want to think of any song of modern time. I just want my mind to be blank. So I listen to other music to kind of free my mind and just chill a while. And then I either work on beats to see if I come up with something for myself, or I look for beats from other producers, and then I'll put 10 beats in one Pro Tools session and then start freestyling to each one to see which one moves me. You know what I mean? And then one will click, I delete the rest of them, and then we start making the song. So that's pretty much how I do all my songs, is I import almost 5 to 10 beats in one session, and I just go through them, and whichever one moves me. Because I produce, and because I've been producing for so long, is why it's so hard for me to find beats, because I've heard it all. I want to hear something that I haven't heard, and that's probably the hardest thing for me when it comes to being an artist, is beats for me. It's the hardest search and journey of life, you know what I mean? So I'll make 200 songs and use 12, that's how it be. Motivation, I can't say in my family, my motivation, we all say that, but I have doing it. I was doing this before they were, a part of my life. My motivation is just, I feel like it's everybody's motivation to prove to people that they're worth something in this music industry. You know what I mean? I work so hard, and all we want to do is be recognized by the greats, And that's my goal, is to be recognized by the greats, and then for those to recognize that the greats recognize me, because I work and bust my ass in this music shit. So it's gonna come. Words of advice, I don't believe in telling anybody that they can't do it. Even if they might sound horrible, I've seen horrible artists do some really great things. So I would say keep working, and your time might not be tomorrow. It might not be 5 years from now, but if it's really what you want to do, keep on going, and something's bound to happen. Just keep on networking. Consistency is key. I've watched one kid, as he's a kid to a grown man, his consistency has showed that consistency works, So just keep on doing what you're doing every day, and never let anybody tell you that you can't.